We almost did it again.
Man.
Oh,
Peace.
Lord.
Welcome, welcome to Authentic Talk with Monet Michelle. I am your host. As promised, I am bringing you the most raw, uncut information in black and white. There's no way around it. You're going to get it how I give it to you, and you're going to love it. So I have with me this guy, financial guru, Mr. Jeffrey Taylor. Mr. Jeffrey Taylor, I can't do you any justice. Can you please give them a little snippet of your background?
Well, I am Carol Taylor's son from the west side of Detroit. And this is my 37th year in financial services. I've had over 1,500 clients. I have managed millions and millions and millions of dollars. And through a course of events, I've developed a system that I call Never Lose Money Strategy.
Mhm.
And so it's built upon the banker's mindset because there are two basic financial positions in society, and that is
Mhm.
banker's mindset and then the borrower's mindset. Just to give perspective to this,
Mhm.
when a real estate investor wants money, they go to the bank to get that money to reinvest into real estate. And so it proves that you're either the banker or
Mhm.
the borrower.
Mhm.
Real estate is queen and cash is king. And so I have a
Okay.
system that teaches this process to position us to think and operate like the bank. We call it the banker's mindset. And it's based
Okay.
on four fundamentals. I'm kind of jumping out here in the deep
Mhm.
water. Four fundamentals that we teach. Rule number one is to position yourself to never lose
Mhm.
money. Rule
Okay.
number two is to position yourself to never run out of money. Rule number three
Mhm.
is to position yourself for financial crisis and economic change before it happens. Why? So that you can thrive through it. And then rule number
Okay.
four is utilizing the power of what we call recycling and recapturing. Recycling and recapturing utilizes the five miracles of money to, to make interest, cash reserves, and profit
Mhm.
from our debt and our dead money. So that's just a little bit of an introduction there. And hopefully I said something that makes sense somewhere in
I mean, you see me put my glasses on. I had to lean in. But I was like,
there.
you got to concentrate on this. And one of the key things you said, you've been in business for 37 years.
Yes,
So
yes.
I only can imagine how many thousand people you've helped with their finances.
Mhm.
And just to give our listeners a little bit of a background, kind of give me like a brief scenario of how you've helped, I guess, one of your biggest ahas, or have you helped these people grab a hold of these finances? I'm even getting tongue tied with it because this is some new information. It's some new
Mhm,
information,
mhm,
and we all know cash is king, but you're the first person I've ever heard explain how to use it as king.
mhm, mhm. Okay, so let's tell a little bit of a story here. So over 20 years ago, I used to be a registered investment advisor, used to be a registered rep.
Mm-hmm.
And so from 2000, 2002, along with the rest of the world, my clients lost half of their money. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, nobody was angry with me. Nobody was looking for me, anything like that. It was just what was going on in the world. Well, before that happened, one of my mentors pulled me into a room and he told me that that was going to happen. And he said, so I want you to take your clients who don't want to lose money, who are concerned about financial losses, and I want you to put them into a new instrument called annual reset. And the annual reset is simply
Okay.
a system that allows you to participate in stock market gains without the losses. So during that period of time when my clients were losing money, this group of people, not only were they not losing money, but their gains had been locked in. And as I saw this over that 3-year period of time, it really gave me a different perspective on how I wanted to work with people, because I didn't like the ideology of losing money. These folks did not lose money. Many of them, they doubled their money in a declining marketplace. So I
Wow.
knew that I had something that was special, different, and unique. Fast forward, again, my mentor tells me, look, I want you to start teaching this information. It was a
Hmm.
book by a gentleman named Rick Edelman.
Okay.
He teaches a series called Why You Should Carry a Big, Long Mortgage and Never Pay It Off.
Hmm.
So again, I'm
Mm.
reading material that is counterintuitive to what we have been taught. You know, all of us were taught, hurry up, pay your mortgage off as fast as you
Hmm.
can. He teaches the opposite of that. Well,
Hmm.
to give perspective to why this was so important, this was like 2003, 2004, and I
Hmm.
started introducing it to my clients, and my clients began to tell me, Jeff, this just makes sense. And these were the kind of people who didn't mind reading a couple of chapters in the book. So this is a person who is looking for a smarter way to do things. They want to expand their money. They're open to learning new things. And so as I began to implement these strategies, I didn't know 2008 was going to come.
Hmm.
When it arrived, 2008, market crashed again, but this time property values fell. 2008, 2009, 2010,
Hmm.
2011, 2012. So you have people who had paid their homes off, and all that money that they paid, they overpaid and they lost their jobs, and all of that cash was gone. And so all of my clients who put their equity into safe instruments, not only did some of them double that money, but
Hmm.
when their property value was falling, they locked that equity in and they didn't lose any money. So if you see where I'm going here, so I had a scenario where my clients didn't lose money in the stock market, and my clients didn't lose their property equity. And that's what birthed the ideology of the never lose money philosophy. So now we fast forward almost 20 years from that point into now, where we teach an advanced class. Well, now we didn't get into this part.
Hmm.
We teach the real estate investor, we teach the property owner, we teach the 401k saver. How do you grow? How do you double your property equity value
Hmm.
um, despite a declining appreciation of a property? How can you double that property equity value? How do you then double your cash reserves without market losses and without taxes? And then how do you double your cash flow
Hmm.
or create cash flow from a property without the need of the tenant? And we do that again by utilizing the 5 miracles of money, just like the bank. So hopefully I didn't lose anybody in the midst of all this. We said a lot in a short period of time. But the 5 miracles of money are the secrets of the wealthy. This is how the bank makes its money. This is
Hmm.
how wealthy people make their money, and I teach it to my clients.
Wow. This is powerful. I'm over here taking notes. I want to unpack something a little bit here. You said some key points that I wrote down. People that lost money, they still suffer. People that paid off their homes, which we were taught. I was taught to pay off my home. I bought my first home. I was one of the ones that lost my property in the 2008 turnaround. And that was just being young, and I didn't have a lot of knowledge to know what to know now. And I paid a lot into that mortgage thinking I was doing the right thing. And when the turn came, I lost a little over 60K from that
Right,
home.
right,
So
exactly.
can you touch down a little bit about, because I know I'm not the only one out there. I know for sure I see a lot of witnesses right now. I know I'm not the only one out there that has that mindset of hurry up and pay it off. Can you speak to the mindset? Because what I see here, this is and I don't want to say a new philosophy, maybe a smarter philosophy that just was not known. Can you speak to that a little bit for me, please?
Well, it's interesting you bring this up. I grabbed my phone just to make sure that I quoted this scripture correctly. When we look at Deuteronomy 15:6,
Hmm.
it says, see, y'all didn't know y'all was going to get a little Bible study in here. For the Lord thy God blesseth thee, and he promised thee, and thou shalt lend unto many nations, but you shall not be the borrower, and thou shalt reign over many nations, but they shall not reign over you. That you shall be the lender and not the borrower, and you shall be the lender to nations. What this is talking about is an economic system
Hmm.
where he was teaching them how to be the bank. He was teaching them the banker's mindset. Now, if we go back to Genesis 40 and 41, when we see Joseph giving the interpretation of the king's dream, we see that Joseph lays out a blueprint. And we don't have time to get into all of that.
Okay.
But when he lays out the blueprint, he lays out the schematics, the business schematics for establishing a banking system
Mm.
that is positioned to never lose money and to never run out of money. It not only brought the nation of Egypt through the famine, but it made Egypt an even greater superpower because the process was laid out as a banking system. We see what was said in Deuteronomy carried out in Genesis, where he says, you shall become the lender and not the borrower. So this is the system and process that we teach, and we use the 5 miracles of money to basically supercharge the way that our finances work. And it's from thousands of years ago,
Mm.
listed in the scriptures. That was the point I was trying to make, is this is nothing new.
So when I hear the word banking system, I automatically go to the huge brick and mortar, the JP
Ooh.
Morgans, the
Mm.
what was that, Bank of Americas, things of that nature. How can I apply this system to myself? Like how can we bring this home? Like how can I take it from being so esoteric and out there? How can I bring this home so that myself, a business owner, entrepreneur, and
Yes,
investor can
yes, yes,
become the
yes.
bank?
Okay, so we're talking about a mindset, right?
Hmm.
You made a very, very good point. We're not talking about brick and mortar. We're not talking
Hmm.
about an address. We're talking about a way of thinking, a way of
Hmm.
structuring our finances. So let's go through the rules. Okay, so we talked about the banker's philosophy. We never
Hmm.
lose money, never run out, protect from financial loss, recycle and recapture money with the 5 miracles of money. The other piece is this: when we talk about how do we structure ourselves as a banking system, we got to focus on rule number one. What is rule number one? Position ourselves to never lose money. Well, to do that, we need to understand our negative wealth transfers.
Hmm.
Okay, now let's go slow here. What is a negative wealth transfer? A
Mm.
negative wealth transfer is a way where I am engaged in a process. And in that process, even though I might be accumulating money, I'm also losing money.
Okay.
For example, when you buy a property, here's a really good point. Let's go back to the story I just shared. So 2008 begins this cycle of where property values begin to fall and
Hmm.
fall dramatically, right? Well, when those properties equity values fail, that is what we call a negative wealth transfer, because you had the equity, but then all of a sudden it's gone
Mm.
because of market conditions. That is a negative transfer of wealth.
Wow.
So one of the first steps we go through when we're sitting down with someone as we go through the various areas where they are losing money, because this is the real problem that you can have. I talked to so many smart money people who are doing great, and then we go through a negative wealth transfer, or what we call a risk assessment analysis, and they find out how much money they're
Mm,
losing, where they may have been making gains. When we look at these losses that they're participating in, these negative wealth transfers, it washes out the gains that they're making. This is
mm,
the reason why real estate investors are not creating the type of wealth that they should be creating, because they are in a negative position because of the negative wealth transfers that they're participating in. People don't realize that every mortgage payment is a negative wealth transfer.
mm,
Let me say that again.
mm,
Every mortgage payment, every debt payment, every car payment, every student loan payment, ooh, Lord, every boat payment, uh,
mhm,
every line of credit payment, all of those payments are negative wealth transfers. Why do we say
mm.
that? Because you're paying a debt and you're not creating wealth. Let's look at it this way. When we make a debt payment,
Mhm.
who are we making that debt payment to?
To the lender, to possibly the bank, whoever the financier.
Okay. So we're making it to the bank, right?
Hmm.
So we're making that payment away from ourselves and to someone else. That's the
Mm,
reason why it's called a negative wealth transfer. Okay, now,
okay.
what does the bank do with that money?
They're making money off that money.
So they reinvest it, correct?
Yes.
As they reinvest that money and they double it, and they double it again, and double it even some more, how much of that profit do you participate in?
Zero.
Really? So you mean to tell me we voluntarily participate in a process,
Mm,
pay our money out,
hmm.
and that money is then used for reinvestment, and we are voluntarily not participating in the profits of that reinvestment?
Wow.
That's why
Mm,
it's called a negative wealth transfer. So
mm,
when we look at these negative wealth transfers and we see the areas where we're losing money, what we want to do is we want to reverse
mm,
engineer all of that, so that you can begin the process of utilizing the 5 miracles of money to
mm,
reverse engineer that process and to begin to create interest, cash reserves, cash flow,
hmm.
profit, and velocity of money from our debt, our dead money, and our negative wealth transfers. Until we do that, we will never get ahead of the game, because we're always going to be in the borrower's position. We're always going to be in the position where we have to what? Loan money.
No.
We should be, we should be the lender and
Mm,
not.
mm.
And
This is some powerful stuff, Mr. Taylor. This is some very, very powerful, powerful stuff. And we're definitely gonna do a part two. Because I want you to break that thing down. And I have written all over my notes over here the 5 miracles of money. Tell our listeners where they can get more information about these
well, we
5
do,
miracles of money.
we do 2 classes a week on Monday evenings. They're online. They're complimentary. So you keep your wallets and your purses at home.
Hmm.
Uh, and so in our Monday series, we're talking about the five miracles of money. And
Hmm.
then on our Wednesday series, we're talking about how do we teach real estate investors how to 10x their profits.
Hmm.
And so that's the Wednesday class. And so the link for both of those should be right at the bottom or the side or wherever the registration is. And listen, this is what I want the community to do. This is very, very important. When you register for the class, make sure that you put Monet's name in the category or in the portion where it asks, how did you learn about this class? This is very, very important. The second thing I'll say is that if you are a part of a book club or a community group or organization that you think will find value in this type of teaching, please let us know. We'd love to talk to you and see about putting together a class for your group.
Now, I'm gonna tell you guys, information and knowledge it's not powerful until you use it. And information is free. Information is free. Like he said, it's a Monday and a Wednesday class. I'm gonna include all of that in the link in the bio. I would be remiss if I did not say that myself, before I brought this to you all, I've done some research. I've done some research, and it gave me some real good, bad, indifferent, some real ugly truths about how I handle my finances. And now I am essentially on my way to a better position. I'm not gonna front. It's still some habit. And you talked about mindset. It's truly a mindset shift, especially when you're dealing in a realm of where I'm no longer at the lowly bar. You know, I'm no longer the beggar. I'm no longer check to check. I'm no longer. So I want you all to think about that. But again, peace and blessings. I am truly elated to share this message with you all. I ask that you share this as well. And again, on Authentic Talk, which is going to be coming, you're going to get it more so on the financial side because we need it more than ever if you look around you. But I don't want you to get immersed in what's going on around you and then be that person that's at the bottom of that totem pole because you chose not to act. All right. So action and inaction always has a reaction, y'all. So like I said, this is Authentic Talk with Monet Michelle. This is our guest. I am very grateful, very blessed to have you here, Mr. Taylor. And again, I'll put all your information in the box, but just for the people that needs to hear it instead of see it, can you tell them where they can find you, sir?
Yeah, you can find me at on YouTube, Never Lose Money Strategy. You can find me on TikTok under Your Money Coach. You can find me on LinkedIn at Jeffrey Taylor. You can find me on Facebook under Jeff Taylor. I think, is that it? Instagram, I think is Your Money Coach as well. So
LinkedIn.
I'm not hard to find. And if they would like to have a free 15-minute chat, we'll put the calendar link on the bio as well for those who want to set up a 15-minute chat to answer any questions that they may have about 10xing their real estate profits or the never lose money philosophy.
Awesome sauce. Peace and blessings, sir. I thank you again. And we are out. Everybody enjoy your day, your evening, your weekend, whenever you're seeing this.